Hey, what is up, everyone? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo here. Today, we're going to be talking about recapping last night's games, standing updates, preview for tonight's games. Utah looking for a new name still, and we're going to have a talk about a fun trade that happened last night between the Calgary Flames and the Philadelphia Flyers. Marc-Andre Fleury, Brett Clark, Ottawa Senators wanting to go play in Quebec City, and Brandon Saad's new home and Zegras potential trade and a salary cap increase for the next 3 years. And my favorite subject, why is the NHL better than the NBA? All right, let's get to it. All right, first up, let's talk about last night's games between not 9 games, we should say, or 10 games, should we say. All right, here, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a fun night last night. 6-2 win for the Winnipeg Jets. No surprise there against the Boston Bruins. 4-0 win for the Minnesota Wild against the Montreal Canadiens. Marc-Andre Fleury getting his 75th shutout of his career and the first player in NHL history, the first goalie ever to get a shutout as a teenager and at the age of 40. What a fun night for Flower and an emotional night for Marc-Andre Fleury, one of the GOATs of all time in the net. And between the nation's capitals, between the Washington Capitals and the Ottawa Senators, 5-4. What a win for the Ottawa Senators. And then the LA Kings getting shut out again, 3-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. No surprise there. The Carolina Hurricanes, Mika Rantanen getting his first goal as a Carolina Hurricane against Connor Bedard in the Chicago Blackhawks. Bedard got one as well. So the Hurricanes win 3-2. The New York Islanders continue, keep on trucking. 6 wins in a row, 3-0 win. What a memorable night for Mark Katkob. First goal in the NHL of his career. 3-0 for the New York Islanders against the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll be talking about them in a bit. All right, and a 4-1 win for the Calgary Flames against the Anaheim Ducks. Calgary is still in the hunt for the wild card and creeping up for that third place position in the Pacific Division. Speaking of Alberta, the Edmonton Oilers get a point, but they lose in a shootout against Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings. Lucas Raymond is a phenom, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful goal he did in the shootout. And I am not surprised. I called this one yesterday that the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-1 victory against the Vegas Golden Knights. What a victory for CBJ and Zach Rinsky. He is my Norris Trophy favorite and my Hart Trophy favorite as well. He is playing lights out on the back end, and it's his career year so far. And no surprise here, Seattle Kraken 6-2 against San Jose Sharks. Macklin celebrating, got an assist. Yeah, I really thought that these games went overly well in the standings here, ladies and gentlemen. And Marc-Andre Fleury played his last ever game in his home province of Quebec and in Montreal. And it was a night to remember. But let's get to the standings, shall we? It's no surprise here that the Ottawa Senators are 5 points behind the top Florida Panthers in the Atlantic Division, four behind the second place Toronto Maple Leafs. The Florida Panthers, they got to get their momentum going because, that Atlantic Division is creeping. They are deeply creeping right there. I mean, 1 point behind is the Toronto Maple Leafs, 5 points is the Ottawa Senators, and Tampa Bay's creeping, Boston's creeping, Detroit's creeping, Montreal, they're getting there, but that's how it goes. And you got the Washington Capitals in the Metropolitan with 74 points. Carolina, they are 6 points behind, 68 points. The Devils, they are 10 points behind the Capitals, but they're 4 points behind the Hurricanes. We're going to see those two teams against each other in the playoffs again and again. And then you got the Tampa Bay Lightning with 57 points tied with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Columbus will be playing tonight against Utah Hockey Club. And if Columbus wins, they will take that first wild card spot over the Tampa Bay Lightning. And you got Boston 56, Detroit 55, 53, 53 with the Islanders and the Canadians. Rangers and Flyers 52 points each. The Penguins, they got 50. They're still kind of in it, but no way. And the Buffalo Sabres, they got 43. They are just god awful. And then now we got the best team in the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets, with a 36, 14-3. They won last night against the Boston Bruins, 75 points. And then you got some closeness between the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars, 66 points for the Wild, 65 for the Dallas Stars. And I believe those are going to be flipped back and forth, back and forth, back and forth along the way. And then now we got in the Pacific Division, you've got the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights, 68 points each. It would have helped that the Oilers would have beat the Red Wings last night, but they lost in the shootout. They got that 1.68. If they would have won, they would have had 69. It would have been 69, 68. And then LA Kings with the 58 points. And now in the wild card, we've got 60 points for the Colorado Avalanche. And the Avalanche are 5 points behind the Dallas Stars and six behind the Minnesota Wild. And I'll say this in the Pacific Division, it's going to be very close. Calgary and Vancouver. Calgary is 1 point behind Los Angeles and 2 points behind for the Vancouver Canucks. They are creeping on LA. So Calgary and Vancouver are going to be fight tooth and nail to the end of the season. I mean, they are a point away from each other for that final wild card spot in the West, in two or maybe 1 point behind LA for that third spot in the Pacific Division. And then you've got the Utah Hockey Club and the St. Louis Blues at 50 points, Kraken at 49, 48 for the Ducks, the disappointing Nashville Predators at 43, 37 for Chicago, and 36 for the San Jose Sharks. Sharks are currently the worst team in the standings in the overall rankings. And we're looking at the Winnipeg Jets as the number one team in the NHL, and the best team in the West and the Eastern Conference is the Washington Capitals. All right, tonight's games, let's get to it. And we're going to be talking Nashville and Buffalo, and I'm going to go with Nashville in this one. And Vancouver, they are fighting for their lives. They are trying to get back into the playoff mix. And if they get a point, they'd be tied for the final wildcard spot with the Flames. If they win, they eclipse the Flames. They would be in the final wildcard spot, and they'd be close to the LA Kings in the standings. And you got the Dallas Stars. And Dallas Stars, they are third place in the Central Division. Yeah, they are third place in that Central Division here, ladies and gentlemen. And Dallas, if they win, they creep up on Minnesota and they take the second place spot. And then you've got St. Louis and Colorado. Colorado, if they can play their cards right, they be creeping up for that Central Division third place spot and increase the lead in the first wild card position. And then, like I said about Columbus Blue Jackets and the Utah Hockey Club, Columbus has been playing on fire. I know they stink on the road. Utah's got an electrifying crowd. It's going to be a close matchup. I'm going to go with the Columbus Blue Jackets for this key matchup for tonight. And coming up, we'll be talking about Utah Hockey Club's potential new name, and we'll be talking about the Flames and Flyers trade. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, we're back here, ladies and gentlemen. Utah Hockey Club, they have narrowed it down to three names. Wasatch has been dropped out due to the unpopularity of the name and the criticism of the definition of what is a Wasatch. Well, Wasatch is basically a mountain range, Native American type of thing in Utah, but they've narrowed it down to three names: the Outlaws, the Mammoth, and Hockey Club. So, Colorado, the state of Colorado and their lacrosse fraternity and community, they're going to be like, brah, what the hell? We already got the Outlaws in the Premier Lacrosse League and the Mammoth in the National Lacrosse League. What the hell, brah? Why you got to be taking our names, brah? Like we're going to be a little laxing, brah. But the Utah Hockey Club be like, relax, brah. It's this hockey. I mean, we've got Hockey Club, we've got Mammoth, and we've got the Outlaws. And I'm still going to vote for the Mammoth because it works, it makes sense. And, honestly, I don't mind Hockey Club, but there's no identity to it. I mean, it felt rushed. It was like the Utah Jazz moving from New Orleans, and they did not have enough time to come up with their own name. So they were like, you know what? We're going to stick with it. Utah Jazz? Okay. This is not the first time with the state of Utah with a major professional sports team. I wouldn't be surprised they keep Hockey Club, but I am still voting for the Utah Mammoth. And all right, let's talk about last night's trade, shall we? This trade right here was a big one. Not as big as last week though. Last Friday was a mammoth of a three-team trade, but I'll say what a move and a trade for Calgary and Philadelphia here. This trade right here was a not surprised. I mean, Andrei Kuzmenko, not too long ago, this man had a career year, 74 points, 39 goals, 35 assists 2 seasons ago. Last year, 22 goals, 46 points. This year, 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points. I really think that him getting a scenery change and a fresh start will do wonders for him, and also reuniting him with his former teammate and SKA St. Petersburg Michkov. And I really think those two are going to bring back some nostalgic feel of the KHL days for those two. Yeah, not too shabby, not too shabby with it. That was a great trade. And Jakob Pelletier, he this season 24 games played, 4 goals, 11 points, plus 10, not too shabby, but it's been a tumultuous relationship. It was a tumultuous relationship. And also, I believe this will definitely get him a fresh start in Philadelphia. But living up to John Tortorella, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for him to get adjusted and acquainted to Torts and his way of life and coaching. It's his way or the highway. And don't forget, Philly acquired Calgary's second round pick this year and the seventh round pick in 2028. And Joel Farabee, and I'll say, he had 50 points last year, 22 goals, 50 points, but he has struggled with 19 points in 50 games so far this season. He's been healthy scratch 3 times, all in January. And, Calgary is in the mix for a playoff hunt. And I really think this is going to be a good thing for Joel Farabee. He needed that fresh start. And Morgan Frost, the former first round pick for the Philadelphia Flyers, and his father was the public address announcer for the Toronto Maple Leafs for the longest time. Last season, he had 13 goals, 20 assists, 41 points. The year prior, 19 goals, 27 assists, 46 points. This year, 49 games played with 11 goals and 25 points. But yet again, he has been struggling, and he is glad that he is getting his fresh start that he's been looking for the longest time. And him and Torts have had a love-hate relationship, and this man definitely deserves a fresh start. This guy has been through so much, 278 games, but this is from last season overall. But honestly, he needed that fresh start. And also, this was not a Torts type of player. This is like a Ron Hextall type of draft. And let's just say that it just didn't work out. It did not work out for him at all. And I believe that Morgan Frost will have a better time playing for the Calgary Flames. And like I said, the Calgary Flames are in the playoff hunt right now as we speak. And speaking of Philadelphia Flyers, during that game last night, losing to the New York Islanders 3-0. What a outburst with Michkov. Artem Michkov and John Tortorella had a shouting match on the bench, and basically Michkov was benched for the entire third period. I mean, you do not want to cross John Tortorella's line, It's his way or the highway. And Michkov had to learn it the hard way. He had to learn it the hard way. And it's and I like I said, you cannot mess with John Tortorella. He is a scary, stern, but fair guy. I would not want to mess with John Tortorella right now. All right, let's get to Marc-Andre Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury, number one overall pick, 2003, one of the best goaltenders of all time. He is spectacular. And he is the first and only goalie in NHL history to get a shutout at the age of 18 and at the age of 40. The only goalie to ever do that in the NHL as a teenager and at the age of 40. It's never been done before. The only goalie in NHL history to do that feat. It's unbelievable. Marc-Andre Fleury, to me, he is a top five goaltender of all time. And I remember his first ever game in the NHL and his first ever win in the NHL against the Detroit Red Wings, and it beat Dominik Hasek 4-3. And that right there was a classic game. And looking at Marc-Andre Fleury's record, he's gotten 76 shutouts of his career, and he's a 572 wins, 335 losses, 97 OT losses, and 1,043 games. This man is the GOAT, one of the GOATs of this game. And Marc-Andre Fleury, your name is going to be up in their numbers, going to be up in the rafters in Pittsburgh one day and someday. And Marc-Andre Fleury, you are one of the GOATs. It's Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur, Marc-Andre Fleury, Dominik Hasek, and Cujo. I mean, I don't know about Cujo, but that's my four out of top five goalies I've ever seen. Maybe I can throw in Chris Osgood in there. And Flower is definitely a top five bona fide superstar goaltender of all time. And it was a bold pick back in 2003 for a number one overall pick. And it really paid off for the Pittsburgh Penguins with three Stanley Cup victories and five Stanley Cup final appearances, four with the Pittsburgh Penguins and one with the Vegas Golden Knights. I Let's just say this man is special. Yeah, Marc-Andre Fleury, he is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer, and his save percentage is a .912. Yeah, this man is a Hall of Famer. And we got Brent Clark. Brent Clark, he is a former lottery pick by the LA Kings of 2021. And he's so far played about 47 games so far this season. And he's gotten 3 goals so far this season, and he's been playing well under the circumstance that Drew Doughty has been on the lineup. He had 21 assists, 24 points, and a +8. He's been healthy scratch 2 games in a row since Doughty's been back in the lineup, recovering from a scary ankle injury, and he wants out. And Brett Clark is complaining about playing time and saying like he wants to be on the ice more. You've got to earn that time, man. You're going to be in the driver's back seat for quite a while. You've got a stacked veteran team in the Los Angeles Kings, kid. You've got to wait for your turn and be very patient to get your time to shine. And asking for a trade doesn't, make you the man who you are. I mean, you asking for a trade, it's like you're running away from your problems. I don't care. You've got to play, you've got to earn it. And you're just as bad as Simon Nemec. And he is the second overall pick by the Devils, and he's complaining about playing time, and he's in the American League. Defensemen take time to develop and grow. You've got to be physically and mentally ready to be in the NHL. You can't be one or the other. Every player is different. They're not the same. You've got to take time to grow and build and develop to have a long and thriving, successful career in the NHL. That is my point right there. And take it from me. You've got to take your time to grow and build and develop. Come on, people. You got to understand. You can't be like whining about things. You've got to earn it. Keep your head down, work hard, be humble. That is the only way that you're going to earn your playing time and your full-time roster spot. And this is definitely hurting your renegotiations or your contract extensions, Brent. You're hurting yourself by complaining and crying. You got to take time to grow and build. There's good days and bad days. Shit happens. We get it. You were a lottery pick. You got to take a grain of salt, and just take it. At the end of the day, you'll be fine. You'll be playing in the NHL with a long career. And stop this complaining and crap. It happens. You'll be playing full time. Dowdy has got another 4 years in this league, 3 to 4 tops. Overall, you got to get yourself ready to play the next several games. And, you know, maybe you should be playing in the American League in Ontario Reign during the Four Nations Cup for the next few weeks. You need that time for playing in ice time. All right, now let's talk about the Ottawa Senators here, ladies and gentlemen. The Ottawa Senators are in a unique situation right now. All right, let's talk about this. Their new owner, who's been owning the team for the last few years, who bought the team from Eugene Melnick and his family. And let's just say that, he is very intrigued about going back to Quebec City for an NHL game. And let's put it this way. Michael Anlander, he wants to have 5, maybe 6 games at the Videotron Center in Quebec City for the Ottawa Senators to grow and build his brand and the Ottawa Senators. I mean, listen, Canada is in a hard economic situation right now. Their dollar's in bad shape. I mean, if Quebec comes into the NHL, that entry fee will bankrupt, Quebec, or for if Quebec does get back into the NHL, they will be bankrupt. And listen, you got the arena, but there's no way. I mean, like 6 games, I don't mind the idea, but it's kind of cheating out the Ottawa Senator fans. Those 6 home nights and the employees who work at the arena, you're cheating yourself by playing 6 games in Quebec City. I mean, I get why Quebec wants an NHL team. You got a very well established history. You've got a new arena. You've got a very astute and high IQ and intelligent hockey fan base there. But you guys got to understand how the, economic and checkbook works out, guys. The dollar in the market's not strong enough to handle another Canadian team right now. The dollar's bad. They're and the only way I could see the NHL coming back to Quebec City is that the NHL would say, if America gets Canada as the 51st state, we'll reconsider it. But honestly, no way. Right now, absolutely not. You got to get a new TV contract first, and then we'll talk about expanding into Canada as well. But honestly, Canada getting another NHL team, it's a bold idea, but no way right now. But like I said, the only way that Canada gets another NHL team is that if they become the 51st state of the United States of America. And I know it's hard to say, but just listen to me on this. Canada is in a bad place financially and economically, and I do not want Quebecer to go bankrupt. So the NHL fee would be like $1.5 billion, $2 billion for an American. But if that price range is like 3 or 4 billion, sheesh, man, it's not gonna work. The only way, like I said, America gets another state and Canada becomes 51st state of the United States of America. That's the only way you're going to get an NHL team back into Canada. I mean, 6 games, you're just robbing the cradle. You're just robbing fans, and they just had another sellout last night at Canadian Tire Center. I mean, you cannot rob these fans. I mean, the Ottawa Senators are on an upswing, and you cannot rob and cheat these fans and play several games in Quebec City. You just cannot. Michael Landlander, you got to understand here. Keep the team in Ottawa full time. I like your idea and your passion about playing 6 games in Quebec City. Think about your fan base first. You do not want to piss off your fan base like Eugene Melnick has done for 20 years before he sold his team to you. Come on, Mike. Mike and Lauer, please don't do this. listen to your fans, listen to what the fans want. Ottawa Senators play all home games in Ottawa, not 6 games in Quebec City and 35 in Ottawa. No, you got to listen to your fans. You got to listen and take initiative. You got to understand here how economics work. You know the dollar is not strong, and Canada can't sustain another NHL team. They got to get a new media contract over there. And the only way, like I said, if Canada becomes a 51st state of the United States of America, then we'll talk about an expansion team in Quebec City with Quebecer, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, now let's get to the next topic. My favorite is, why is the NHL better than the NBA? Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain here why the NHL is better than the NBA. Hockey players are tough. They're strong. The game has become more compelling and more exciting. Everyone's playing close, and it's a team game. It's not about narcissistic egos and crybabies and globalism and communism and human trafficking and all that and lizardards, whatever. But the NBA has become this globalist crybaby communist league, and LeBron is basically Diddy's best friend. What a disgusting league the NBA has become. And LeBron, like, shut up. No one gives a crap about you anymore. The NBA is become this globalist tyranny and communist sports league. And also, the other thing I notice about the NBA, it's because that, for years, you lectured us, telling us who to vote for. You bitched and cried like social justice warriors. We told you to shut up and dribble, and look where you're at right now. Your 60% rating decrease. We told you, Popovich. We told you, Steve Kerr. We told you, LeBron. We don't care. And your commissioner is basically making it worse by saying, oh, yeah, let's cut back on minutes and all that stuff. I mean, you've got your ticket prices and your ratings and all that stuff are insane. Your ticket prices have gone skyrocketing, and fans can't afford the games anymore. You have abandoned your roots. The NBA has abandoned their roots. Hockey never abandoned its roots. Hockey will be there through the thick, thin, and to the end. The NBA, no. The NBA is just money, 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 money. We don't care where you came from. Oh, yeah, you have a connection with a certain athlete? Oh, yeah, you're in the league. You're going to be playing. You're going to be making $50 million in your rookie salary. This is why the NBA is such a shit show joke, and it's woke. You guys are a joke, and you're broke. Why the hell do we have to listen to you guys? The NBA is dead. I love playing basketball, but I don't watch the NBA. The NBA is a joke and a woke of a league that once was. The NBA was great back in the day in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the early mid 2000s. But ever since then, hell no. The NBA is such a globalist, communist, crybaby, human, and drug trafficking league it's become. It's so disgusting. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. And that is why the NHL is better than basketball. Hockey, it's growing and it's moving and moving and grooving and booming here, ladies and gentlemen. Hockey is becoming a huge comeback after the hurt reputation they had with that infamous lockout of 2004 and 5. Ladies and gentlemen, hockey is booming and better than ever. And soon you're going to have 4 new markets in the marketplace, and hockey is making a global comeback in the NHL. It's become more popular than the WNBA. It's become more popular than Major League Baseball. The NFL has been having a lot of scrutiny recently because of its rigging of the AFC and NFC championship games, and nobody cares about Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. No one does. And the NFL, like, listen, I love watching my Detroit Lions, but the NFL has become a joke, and it's become a globalist crybaby league like the NBA. And the players have ruined those 2 leagues. And baseball, it's been damaged goods since 1994. Montreal could have won the World Series, but nope. Bud Selig ruined it for everybody. And Rob Manfred, he's a clown. I mean, baseball is a joke now. I mean, Major League Soccer, I don't mind watching soccer. I love lacrosse. Those are my 3 sports right now. And golf, it's growing, but it just kind of gets annoying that it's the same thing, same thing. Everyone's doing it. Like I love watching it, but I suck playing at golf. Let's just be honest. I would like to get golf lessons here, people. I would like to have golf lessons. All right, now let's talk about the latest on Brandon Saad here. Brandon Saad, there's been talks about him going to the Edmonton Oilers, the Washington Capitals, Dallas Stars, and the Carolina Hurricanes on a veteran minimum 1 year contract. I mean, this guy is a veteran. He's a Stanley Cup winner. He's a proven winner. And I would take the investment. I'd take the risk. I mean, he'll be a free agent at the end of the year, it's a perfect situation. It's a perfect storm. Having a player who's been there and done that, it's a perfect marriage. And it's short term. You just give him $775,000 for that 1 year, and boom, you're golden. All right, now. Then we got the Trevor Zegras saga. It never ends with this guy. Remember Trevor Zegras, guys? Several years ago, he was on the cover of NHL EA Sports, and he was the future of the league. He made all these sick lacrosse plays and all that stuff. And he was like being fancy, going ashy to classy, flipping the puck, like lacrosse style and stuff. I mean, like, yeah, he looked good, in that 2020-21 season. He had 13 points in 24 games. And then 21-22 season, 75 games played, 23 goals, 38 assists, 61 points. I mean, he needs to be a defensive player. He's plus minus is god awful, minus 21. And then 22-23, 81 games played, 23 goals, 42 assists, 65 points. He was on the cover of NHL like 22-23. I mean, this guy was the face of the league, and he had a minus 24. And then last year, he had a 31 games at 15 points. Not good. He was a half a point, and now he's been in and out of the lineup with injury. 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points with a minus 8. 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points with a minus 8. I mean, this guy needs to get out of Anaheim. I mean, it will be a regretful one, but he needs to play a 200-foot game. He needs to be accountable, reliable as a player in the NHL. His plus minus is god awful. It's one of the worst I've seen. And I can't believe this guy was the 9th overall pick in 2019. Talented, yes. He's crafty. He's got an offensive gift, but he's flipping lazy here, people. He's got 1 year left of his contract. He's got $5.7 million cap hit in 25-26 next season. Who's willing to take a crap shot at this guy? I mean, who knows? We've been hearing Colorado, Carolina, several teams, but I mean, if is Anaheim willing to trade this guy for something or let him walk and get nothing? I mean, this guy was overpaid. I mean, he doesn't deserve the $575 million contract. No, this guy, its minimum salary is $775,000 right now. This guy's got to earn his wings and fly again. I mean, 65 points 2 years ago. This guy needs to get back into the groove. Not this, oh yeah, I'm going to do a little cross play. I'm going to be like swaggy, swag, and all that stuff. Dude, you're getting old, man. You're 23 years old. You need to play 200-foot game of hockey. No more of this, oh, I'm going to lacrosse the puck in the net. I mean, I'm going to make that alley-oop pass. Don't do that anymore. It's old. It's stupid. This is why, your hot dogging days in the NHL are getting numbered. Teams are going to look at you and you're going to be like, I'm going to be out of a job very soon. But listen, the only way to save your career is to listen to Greg Cronin and his coaching staff and management. Stop hot dogging and play 200-foot hockey and block a shot and contribute on the back end and play offense and defense. Not one. It's not one or the other. You got to play both ends of the ice. None of this crap anymore. All right. Now let's talk about our last topic of the day. Salary cap increase. All right here. currently we're at $88 million salary cap hit this year for 24-25 season. And next season, 25-26 season, we are expected to see the NHL salary cap to be at $95.5 million. And then the following season, 26-27, $104 million. And the following after that, 27-28, $113.5 million salary cap. So we've got in 25-26, the upper is $95.5 million. The lower to get to the floor is at $70.6 million. Then the next season, 26-27, when the new CBA deal is ready, it'll be at $104 million upper. Lower, it'll be at $76.9 million. In the following year, when the potential expansion of Atlanta, Houston, and Phoenix come into the mix, it would be $113.5 million on the upper side and the lower at $83.9 million. All right. So we'll be broadcasting a new episode tomorrow late. I should do this in the morning, but the Panthers are playing the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And we'll be broadcasting a new episode late in the early evening when I come back from the game. This has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys around the rink. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.